Hello, welcome to SestraNow Consulting's free webinar, online webinar. Tonight, we're excited to have a presentation by Cynthia Ellis, a guru, business coach, and my Sestra. She's going to talk to us today about the truth of business credit. This is something that a lot of business owners, I don't think, even like myself, do not understand. And so I'm excited to introduce you, Cynthia, and please tell us all about what we need to do to get business credit, to be prepared to get business credit. And when you're done, I'll wrap it up and share how SestraNow Consulting could help everyone with their business needs. Okay, Cynthia Ellis,
Awesome.
all
It's
yours.
everybody joining the call tonight. Thank you so much, Stephanie, as always, for this magnificent SestraNow platform that connects women globally and helps them not only in business matters, but I've also come to realize in life matters also, because a lot of this overflows into that. So thank you so much for creating this safe space and this platform. We appreciate everybody who's going to be watching, joining live, anybody who's participating via replay. If you do have questions about anything that I'm discussing on tonight's webinar or today, depending on what time you're watching, feel free to drop that in any comment section on no matter which platform you see this on. So if you're going to be viewing it on YouTube, Facebook, any other major social media platforms, feel free to share your insights there, and also to share any type of questions, comments, concerns, because we love to get this type of feedback, and it lets us know how we can serve you better and what type of information that I can provide to help make these trainings more valuable. So with that being said, we are going to dive right in. I'm not going to waste too much time on that, but as Stephanie was saying, I am a business coach. My particular niche is startup businesses. So I love working with businesses who are in their first 0 to 3 years. So whether you're just starting or whether you just have the concepts and the idea and you hadn't really taken it off the ground yet, I'm going to be your contact woman for how can we get a legitimate, credible, protected, profitable, and sustainable business off the ground that is going to be long-term and scalable, help create financial freedom for me. What does that look like? And create legacy and success for the family that comes beyond me. So a lot said right there in those pieces, but let's start narrowing it down to what today's presentation is about, which is business credit. So there are some things that I'm going to talk to you about initially, and then I'm going to be sharing with you a visual of a resource that I created called a business credit checklist that is pretty much going to walk you through the things that I'm going to talk you through. Now, some of this stuff I am going to go in a little bit of advanced stages tonight, because there is a lot of conversation online about how to use business credit to purchase land and real estate, how to use business credit to purchase your first car in your business name. So I am going to go into a little bit advanced pieces, and as a startup coach, that information is not going to be on this resource that I'm going to provide. But my guess is that most people that are going to be watching this are going to probably find it via SEO or keywords, because it's going to strike out at you that this is to start your business credit journey. So first off, I'd like to start by stating the facts, which is that 50% of small business owners do not understand what business credit is, let alone utilize it. 50% is half of us out here that have started small businesses. We don't know what business credit is. We have probably heard something about it, but we're kind of skeptical of it, because if you were raised like me, you may have been taught to think that credit can be a bad thing. You get a slap on the wrist for even thinking about using a credit card, getting a credit card in your name. And there's a fear that, oh my gosh, if I do this, it's going to negatively impact something for me, either short-term or long-term. So the first thing that I want you to do is I need you to shift that mindset. And I need you to understand that credit is something that you can leverage to make it work for you if you use it responsibly. So it is just going to be like the use of personal credit here. As long as you understand that you need to pay your bills on time, you don't need to borrow more than you can pay back at any given time. We love to borrow based on potential. You cannot borrow based on potential in your business. You have to borrow based on profitability. That's a different P. And it goes much further. It goes much further. than you would if you were basing that on, well, my potential is I think I would like to make $50,000 this year. But then your books are only reflecting that you're making maybe $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month. So those things are not exactly lining up, because that comes to about 24 to 36,000 a month. And so then we have to base it on what truly our business needs are at the time. What is our business able to withstand, as far as, if I get this now, how am I going to pay it back? And can I pay it back in a format that's going to look like my business is going to stay profitable on my books? Because you don't need to miss payments. You don't need to have late payments. You definitely don't want to have anything repossessed or anything like that. You still got to worry about carrying a great name. And when I'm talking about profitability, I'm also talking about debt to equity ratios. So if you haven't heard a discussion of debt to equity ratios before, that is basically just saying, how much debt do you have in comparison to the amount of equity that your business holds? And if you have more debt than you have equity in your business, the higher the percentage, the more risky that is for you to borrow or to receive credit. Now, there are different types of credit that you can use in your business. So there are revolving credit lines, which is where we start looking at the credit cards and the business lines of credit. There are business loans that you can take out. Loans can be secured or unsecured. Now, I'm going to go back to loans in just a little bit, and we're going to talk about the use of loans in business and how that's changed very much so over the past 10 years. And then there's also vendor credit, which means that you can open accounts with certain vendors, borrow or make purchases from those vendors, and you can open things, what we call like your net 30 accounts. Usually you will hear people say, sign up for net 30s to start building your business credit. And so that's how this discussion is going to flow, right? But first, let me start with the fundamentals, because that's my favorite place to begin. All right. And I feel like the glare is too strong on these glasses, so I'm going to take them off. So here's the thing. If you're going to be starting your business credit journey, then you have to have what we call a DUNS number. And if you followed any of my trainings before, or even if you've seen some things that Stephanie has posted on her platform, you probably have seen it thrown out there, some language about a DUNS number for your LLC. And let me say too, you do not just have to have an LLC to be able to acquire a DUNS number. So what is a DUNS number? A DUNS number is kind of similar to almost having a social security number for your business. Now, a lot of people look at it and say, well, isn't that my tax ID? It is your tax ID, but a DUNS number is assigned to a company called Dun & Bradstreet, because Dun & Bradstreet are the largest business credit reporters in the world. And so having said that, they've got to track your financial activity regarding your business credit separately from just what happens with the federal government. So the federal government is looking at your tax ID and they're saying, okay, this is the type of business you are, this is the type of industry that you're in. But Dun & Bradstreet is looking at that saying, here is your credit profile and how your business is handling credit within your operations and expanding past that. Where do you go to apply for a DUNS number? I'm going to share my screen with you, but I'm also going to talk you through it. You are going to go to dnb.com. That's D as in dog, N as in Nancy, B as in boy. And that stands for Dun & Bradstreet. And like I told you, that's the largest business credit reporting agency in the world. And this is what their website looks like when you access dnb.com. So literally, you'll be able to see on the screen. Let me toggle this around a little bit and hide my Rakuten points so y'all won't have to worry about that. So when you go to the website, if you have not applied for a DNB for a DUNS number yet, then you are actually going to hover at the top in the dark navy blue bar and click on DUNS number. And it's going to take you to a page to give you more details about the actual DUNS number, what it is. There's a short video that you can watch with how it works. and a few more learn more updates about how it operates, how you can look up your DUNS number. But I wanted to go down here and show you that you can apply for a DUNS number on the site. And once you get there, here we go, right here at the top. So here's our options. Where it says DUNS number, forms, you're going to click this first option that says get a DUNS online. Now, how long does it take for you to get that back? Once you fill out this application, it's going to take you about 30 days after you apply for this to come back. What I have witnessed personally with Dun & Bradstreet is you don't always see a notification from them once they assign it. Sometimes it's very slack on that. What you may see happen before you get assigned, or at least before you're alerted that you're assigned a DUNS number, one signal that you'll know that you've been assigned the number is you will get a phone call from Dun & Bradstreet. Not only are they a credit reporter, but they are also a for-profit business. And that means they're going to try to sell you things that Dun & Bradstreet offers that you may not necessarily need to take advantage of. One of those major things, two of them, is going to be their credit signal. And the other product is going to be their credit monitoring. And they're going to call you about it. Stephanie's shaking her head. Yes, like they're going to call you about that. You do not have to take advantage of those products. They are additional products that they're selling to you to help track that DUNS number and that credit score on dunandbradstreet.com, but you do not have to have those. So you don't have to invest in them immediately, and they do get kind of pricey. So once you get started, when you click on the page to get started now, and you go down about halfway, you're going to click the button that basically says get started now. And what you can do is the majority of my clients and small businesses that I'm serving, you're going to be selecting the very first option, which is I have a US-based business. Once you select get started, it's going to want to confirm that you don't already have a DUNS number. So it's going to ask you for your zip code. And I don't mind showing you all the information about my business here. And it will begin to search your business for you. If you can see where it's popped up, my business has popped up on the screen. So it's telling me that I have a DUNS number assigned. And if I continue, it would either let me view it online or it would email it to me. If you do not have this number established, what it's going to do for you is it's going to say, okay, now I need you to create a profile. That's free. You don't have to pay for that. You create a profile, and then it's going to send a password reset to your email. You're going to go there. You're going to verify it, finish setting up the account with just the details of your business, the demographics, your personal demographics as the owner. And you're going to say, I want to apply for a new DUNS number. It's going to submit the application, and you're going to get a response within 30 days. If you don't hear back, come back to this website at least in about 3 weeks. Give it at least about 3 weeks. Come back to this website, sign in, and you'll be able to view your profile, and it will show you whether your Dun & Bradstreet, whether your DUNS number is active or not. This is the first step in establishing business credit, because you need to make sure if you skip this step, what happens is with them being the largest credit reporter, other credit reporting bureaus are Experian and Equifax. They have business credit reporting just like they do personal, but it's separate from it. What will happen is sometimes these bureaus are not communicating your information efficiently between themselves. The communication is not that great. Dun & Bradstreet ties that information together between those three major bureaus. And so you can look across them and say, is my information aligning? Is the name of my business showing up correctly? Is it the right address? Is it the right phone number? Is the right information here as far as my ownership and how to contact me, these type things. So you don't want to skip this step. But once you do have this step, then what you can do is start the actual business credit building activities. So that is different. So there's establishing business credit, which is making sure now prerequisite to getting that DUNS number, to securing that DUNS number, is making sure that you already have your legal paperwork completed with your Secretary of State's office and your EIN. You will not be able to apply for a DUNS number without that credibility. So that's why it's important for you to form your business the way that you legally should. with the right state entities and the right federal entities. So LLC, of course, LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, PLLCs, nonprofit organizations. Nonprofits can have business credit too. I don't know if you guys could do that, but you can do this exact same process for a nonprofit organization and open up credit lines for a nonprofit. So here's the thing. Once you actually get that paperwork set up, like those legal entities that I mentioned, they can be done on your Secretary of State's office website, no matter what state you're in. If you are going to be a sole proprietor, most sole proprietorships in the US do not register with the Secretary of State. You can record the business name there, that you've got it, a certificate of assumed name. But most of the time, what you're going to end up doing is going to your local Register of Deeds office to register that. And it's a lot more cost effective. It's a lot more friendly as far as price and expense of setting up a sole proprietorship than it is the other corporations. Doesn't mean that it's better. It doesn't mean that it's worse. It's what fits your situation best at the time. I cannot make that judgment call I can't blanket a judgment call like that on a training like this, because people's situations are different financially and what they want to do in the operations of their business. So if you wanted to find something like that out, then you've got to schedule a consult through SestraNow so we can have a deeper conversation about what legal entity you should be choosing for your business. But you've got to have it before you can establish business credit. So that's the prerequisite. And you get the DUNS number. Now you're able to start business credit building activities. And that's the meat of tonight's presentation. All right. So with that being said, what I want to share with you all now is a resource that I created called a business credit checklist. What that allows you to do is follow specific steps on how to treat business credit activities and how to go about moving into, here's what I need to set up and here's why. So I'm gonna give you some great statistics with that. While that is coming up on the screen, I want to mention something to you about business credit scores. Business credit scores are going to work a little bit differently than your personal credit scores. When we look at our business credit score, the weight is carried on what we call our Paydex score, Paydex. Now, Paydex scores only go to 100. They're from 0 to 100. Real quick. You can build up business credit a lot faster than you can build up personal credit. It does report, business credit reports to business credit bureaus monthly, just like it does with personal credit. But the way they carry weight, the way your activities, your payments and everything carries weight, it responds a lot faster in your score reflection than it would if you were using personal credit. I want you to keep something in mind as I continue to teach. So remember, I talked about debt to equity and profitability, making sure you can pay this stuff back and making sure your business is making enough money to keep a solid credit score. To know what you need the money for is the first thing. All right. So if you can see the screen here, here's our business credit checklist. It's how to start your business credit journey. Here is what you need to solidify. This is how you're going to build your house upon the rock, right? Paydex score between 0 to 100. If you are 80 or above, you're doing great and you're where you need to be. Don't forget now, anytime if you have any questions about what we're going over, please drop them in the comments or on whatever platform you're on, and we can get back to you about an answer, or we can schedule that consultation to help you get these things ironed out. If you are above 80 or above in a Paydex score, then you're doing great. If you're somewhere between 60 and 80, then you're fair to good and you need to be working on it. But if you are under a 60 in your Paydex score, then that is a poor business credit score, and you definitely need to be working on building that. All right. A business credit number that reflects how well a business pays its bills. That's what your Paydex score is going to tell you. Think about business credit as in terms of it being your company's financial reputation, right? This is your company's financial reputation. This is official on the books. Everybody can see it. It's what lenders are going to look at. It is what suppliers are going to look at to see if they can trust your business, to pay back money or to pay back the services that you're taking advantage of. The number one thing that we've done is we've established that we've got to have a DUNS number. The second thing that we're going to do after we get that number, this is your next step. Super important. And this is how you build business credit quickly. You want to begin to open those net 30 accounts that I talked about. All right. Some of them are net 30, some of them are net 15, some of them are net 45. If you are not used to that term, all that means is if we're saying net 15, that means when you make a purchase based on that credit line that you have 15 days to pay it back. If it is a net 30 account, that means you have 30 days to pay back what you've purchased on credit. If it's 45, I've even seen there are some business credit cards that are net 24 hours. They're net 1 day. Usually you will see this when you're just starting out on business credit, you have not established any history or you have a poor history, but there is a company somewhere out there that's willing to take a chance on you. And what they will do is, now, of course, it comes at a cost. So there's going to be a little bit higher interest rate, but they are expecting you to pay it back every day. And if you miss a payment, then of course that late fee is probably going to be pretty steep. So if you're looking at net 24-hour accounts or net 1 day, that's usually what they mean, is that you're in a place where you need to be building, and this is a company that you can just start out with. All right. But most vendor accounts are going to be net 30s, and I'm going to give you a few that you can take advantage of. And actually, the list that I'm going to give you will be the first list that allowed me to get at least $10,000 in business credit just within a few months. And it was very simple to do. So you apply for these net 30 accounts. How do you do that? All you do is go on the website for the vendor, and you can actually Google and search. Let me give you the first one. A lot of people have heard of Granger. Granger.com offers a net 30 account. And then there is Uline. Many people have heard of Uline. Uline offers a net 30 account. And these accounts are starting you off with $500 limits, $600 limits, $1,000 limits for borrowing. Then there is also Maverick Office Supplies. Maverick Office Supplies will give you credit lines, $2,500 limits. I have received these approvals for these extensions, and all I have done when you go on to apply with these net 30 vendors, you're going to basically look up, Google, whatever search engine you use, net 30 account or business account for Maverick Office Supplies, and it will show you the website of where you can apply. What information do they want, Cynthia, when I apply for a net 30 account? They want your name as the contact for the business. They have to have a contact person, your information, your phone number and address. They want you to enter either a bank account number so they can withdraw ACH, or enter your business debit card number, which would imply that you need a business bank account before you apply for business credit. So y'all follow me. It's another prerequisite. You got to have a business bank account. And this is a separate conversation, but you better stop mixing your personal finances with your business finances. Don't do that. I'm gonna slap you on the wrist. But after you got that, that's some of the information that they want, because they got to know that you have a way to pay them back that's actually in a legitimate business name. Again, it's all about credibility here and what you can legitimately do with your business name and those official documents and numbers that you have. So owning a business is power, right? This is powerful. This is what we call leverage. It's being able to take what you have as far as your skill set, monetizing that, understanding that you are your own living and breathing entity at this point, and you can borrow money based on that entity that you've created that celebrates your skills and that brings money into your home, or brings money that creates legacy, or brings money that generates financial freedom for you. So all of these things tie together. All right, but let me go back to vendor accounts and let me not chase too many rabbits. And y'all let me know if I need to slow down. Say anything to me if you need me to do something any different. If everything's good, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Let me know we're doing good. We're moving right along. And if I'm boring you to death, give me a thumbs down and tell me that too. All right.
I do have a question.
Absolutely. Miss Stephanie, do you want me to address questions in real time, or do you want me to save time for Q&A? How do you want to approach it?
I think that, I mean, if really you're the presenter, it's up to you. I don't know how much more you have to go.
Let's tackle it then. No, I'm good with answering in real time. This time is for y'all.
In reference to business credit, and you were talking about setting up the net 30 accounts. You gave great examples of businesses that would probably extend that net 30.
Mhm.
Um, is there such a thing of having a good mix when you're establishing your business credit like you would do with your personal credit?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So a a mix of personal credit is great, and so is a mix of business credit. So they are alike. You can liken the behaviors in many ways, right? They impact differently according to what you can do, but that is a great point. What you will find is that if you are going to begin to open revolving credit accounts with lenders and creditors now with businesses, they are going to require a personal guarantee, especially if your business has not been um if your business has not been in business long enough to prove its profitability. And let me go back and break that down a little bit. So when I say that, I mean this. When you are asking a lender to extend business credit to you, they want to see one of two things. You either have to prove that your business is profitable enough on the books and you can prove that on your books that you can handle that much business credit. That means they want to see your profitability at a certain point. They want to see your revenue generation at a certain point. I have had some credit cards that are out there that I've read that said, for us to be able to award credit lines and give credit cards to businesses, you need to be generating at least $100,000 a year in revenue, or you need to be generating $250,000 a year in revenue, or some are you just need to be generating $50,000 in revenue. So it is either that your business shows enough profitability on the books, or we tag along a personal guarantee, which means we are willing to put our name and our social security number on the line to secure that line of credit. Because that means not only then is the business going to be responsible for it, but it means that you are also going to be personally responsible for this debt if the business cannot pay it back. And now, but that mix is so great when you can actually get it. What happens is with a lot of small business owners, I read another statistic today that stated that 69% of small business owners are not starting their business with $10,000. So that means only what, 21 to 31% of small business owners out here. If we had 100 small business owners, only about 30 or 31 of them have access to at least about 10K to start their business, but most of us don't. And so we don't have that credibility or the profitability in the business, or we don't have that much money on the books to prove that we need that. But we do need that mix. So the way that you get to creating that mix is by building great credit and by making sure that your books look good. So, but the mix is great because the better the mix is, the more becomes available to you. And once you do have that great mix, that's what puts you in the running for getting enough credit to actually borrow money to purchase real estate and things like vehicles and cars. And we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars at that point. So that mix is actually what brings you to that result. So that's a good question, Ms. Jones, because what you asked is leading up to where we're going to end up in the conversation. But having a credit mix is something that you definitely want to do. Definitely. So it's great. You want to have the revolving credit and the loans, whether you do secured or unsecured. One of the things about unsecured loans is that there are higher interest rates. The interest rates are higher when you're looking at unsecured loans. And so to break that down a little bit, when we say unsecured, that means you're getting a loan that does not require collateral of any sort. You're not putting up anything for it. To have access to unsecured loans, again, your business has to look really good on the books. And if you just starting business credit, if you're just starting a business, then you're probably listening to me going, but my business hasn't been in operation long enough for me to even bring my profit up to that point. Profitability looks different for different businesses. Your business may be profitable at making $20,000 a year, while other businesses may be profitable making $500,000 a year. It depends on the business that you're operating, the amount of sales that you would get in on average, And really, what do you hope to scale your business to in time? So where do you want that business to go? Do you want it to go from 20,000 to 100,000? Or are you satisfied with operating at just getting $100,000 a year? And some people are just happy at certain points. But you have to figure out what it is with your business that you want to accomplish. So goals first. And again, there's a lot of groundwork that's got to be laid for this. So that's why I say, don't ever go this journey alone, especially when you're starting business credit, because you don't want to start taking these steps and then you get a few steps down the road and you hit a brick wall and you're like, oh God, I wish I would have done this in the beginning. If you'll schedule those consultations with SestraNow, then we can help you make sure that you've got those fundamentals so you don't have to backtrack and we can avoid the pitfalls and the hiccups later. So it's much easier after we've laid groundwork. But open those vendor accounts. Another one that's great that I really love is on quill.com, Quill.com. Quill.com has a great net 30 program that you can use. And now when you're opening these vendor accounts, let me encourage you not to just buy junk, right? I've had a business credit coach tell me before, if you've got a vending machine business, use these vendor accounts to help fuel your vending machines. So basically, you're buying things that are going to help you generate other dollars in your business. That could look like many things for people. I have also used things that I've purchased to use in my home office because they benefit my operations. You know, I've used business credit to purchase a ring light for my home office. I've used it for an office chair. I've used it for supplies, or I still use it now for paper, toner, ink pens. I like to put on community events and things like that and conferences. So things that are going to be custom made with my logo, I can order those things using business credit. Part of that leverage is it allows me the freedom to move about in my business and to dedicate money to other expenses before I'm responsible for paying that back. All right. So super, super important there. Work with suppliers that report your payments to business credit bureaus. Not all of them do, but you want to begin establishing that positive payment history. When those payments begin hitting and reporting, you're going to be super, super happy because you'll see your business credit score skyrocket. And you'll be above 80 in no time with just dealing with vendor accounts. And so that's why I say start there, because that's an easy way to build your credit score really quickly. Now, if you have a good credit score yourself, your personal credit score, you may be able to dive right into getting your first business credit card because most of them require some type of personal guarantee. And I said earlier, I was going to tell you like 10 years ago, this was different. It was way different because you didn't have to worry about this personal guarantee, like on business credit cards and stuff like you do now. You would be able to go onto a website, put your EIN in and your DUNS number, and then you would be approved for a business credit card. But that is no longer the case. These are requiring personal guarantees, and they want your credit score to be at least a 650 or above. What I recommend is that as a business, if you want to be able to open the door for things, here's what you strive for personally and professionally. Personally, strive for a personal business credit score of at least a 680 and a paydex score of 80 or above. So 680 or above or 80 or above. And if you want to get a kind of if you want to set a high standard for yourself, shoot for a 700 credit score and shoot for 85 to 90 paydex score. That will open the door to almost any amount of money that you need to borrow initially when you're trying to start a business. So if you're starting within that range of a 680 of a personal credit score, you will have access to a lot of things. And it's not like your name will have to continue to remain on these things. Your name can come off once you start building your business credit score up high enough. But once that happens, and when we start talking about the mix that Ms. Jones asked about, so you got the vendor accounts, they're net 30s. Then you want to look at securing your first business credit card. And so if you have not had one before, this is where you might be offered a net 1 day, right? Net 1 day accounts are basically going to say, give us access to your bank account, whatever, based on your amount of deposits, based on your balance in your bank account, we will allow you to borrow so much each day. but it has to be paid back by the next day. Net 1 days are great. They do not keep you there, actually. Their plan and their goal is to help you build your business credit to the point to where they can extend that to 15 to 30 to 45, and they can continue to lower your business credit interest rate, that interest rate on that business credit card. So that's the goal there. But it's just like you would use if you've got a regular credit card, a personal one. Make sure you pay your payments on time. If you are not able to pay the full balance, then you definitely want to pay the statement balance. The trick to business credit is that if you do have outstanding business credit on things like credit cards or loans, you want to keep them paid down to about only 30% of the loan left. If you can keep it paid down to 30% of it, then you're going to be golden. That's a huge trick to boost your business credit score from month to month. I literally watched my score raise points over points over points over points because I was keeping my business credit card paid down to less than 30% of the balance each month. So there's a cheat code for you. All right. Little bit more truth here for you. 54% of business owners report using personal funds for their business because they lack established credit, according to NAV's Small Business American Dream Gap report. Who is NAV? NAV will allow you to purchase a subscription on their platform, which I am definitely a subscriber to. There is a platform called NAV Boost, and it has a little purple icon, looks like a little purple triangle, but it's called NAV Boost. NAV Boost is very similar. There's some other platforms just like it, but what it does is it shows you, once you sign in, you have to create a complete profile for yourself. It will show you your personal credit scores. It will show you your business credit scores. It will make recommendations and suggestions for which credit cards you're able to apply for. It will suggest net 30 accounts that you open. So in a way, you can think of NAV Boost as like generative AI that gives your business credit scores, it gives you the 50-foot view on steroids. And it also gives you recommendations on things that you could do to help improve your credit. Not only will it show you the Experian, the Equifax, and the DUNS number, but it will also show you your business FICO score that the SBA watches to see if you would be able to qualify for SBA loans. And NAV doesn't stop there. When you meet a platform like NAV that tracks your business credit and gives you recommendations on what to actually do with what you have and what you're qualified for, it actually goes as far as the subscription payments that you're paying for the platform. Guess what? They report your payment to business credit bureaus. So not only is this platform being used to help you track what's going on with your business and personal credit, but it is also making recommendations based on where you sit. And then the other major thing that it does is, and it can do other things too, but then the other major thing that it does is it takes your payment and it reports your payment to business credit bureaus. So that itself also is worth the investment. Platforms like that. There are net 30s that also operate in the same sense, is that as you pay for their maybe annual or quarterly subscription, they take that payment and they report your payment to business credit bureaus. And so it's a great way to boost your score really quickly, give you access to all of your information in one platform, and you can see recommendations on what you qualify for.
I
Now,
have a question.
sure.
Follow up, right?
Yep.
So let's just say this, right? I guess every business owner right now has things like what we're on right now. They have a Zoom, they have a Google Workspace, they have there's all these basic, your cell phone bill. What if you use your business credit card for all of those basic monthly expenses?
Preach, Stephanie. Preach, right?
Yes.
That's part of the leverage. Oh my goodness. All you so much for highlighting that. So if you're extended a business credit card, you get the opportunity to align all of the business credit expenses that you can line up on that card. You're going to pay off all of your bills on time. and
Every
then
month.
pay the statement balance off on that card and keep it at 30% or below. You're saving money in your business that way. That means you really aren't even paying the full bill out of your business operating budget. You aren't even paying it, not in real time. We're thinking about you could treat that more like on an accrual basis, which gives you wiggle room. And if you've ever
Yes.
been
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, you need wiggle room. You need the wiggle, you need the wiggle. And you need to be able to move around so you can accomplish some things, because you're going to get a lot of surprises in the first 3 years of
Yes.
your business.
Oh,
You're not familiar with it. So it's going to be like, oh, okay, I got to pay for that. It's like, oh,
yes.
I'm doing well with that, but I'm spending too much time on it. I need to outsource it. So I got to put some money over here to pay somebody to do it for me. So there's a lot of things that come up. So as many of those bills, those subscriptions that you have, I pay for Canva every.
Yes.
Guess what?
Yes.
My Canva payment comes out of my business credit card. Like, I don't even think about it, because that's where I've set the payment up to come out of. So that is so strong, Stephanie. Thank you for asking and bringing that out, because that is something major that small business owners need to be.
I just want to add too, doesn't that also help you, right? You as a business coach, isn't it important to, like you said, stop mixing up your bank accounts, right? This is another way when it comes time to file your taxes, whether you're doing it quarterly or annually, you won't give your bookkeeper, your accounting person, or your tax person a heart attack, because now they could just look every month. These are my expenses, right? It's all in one place on the card.
Expenses. That's it. It's the consistency of it, right?
Yes.
Not just the consistency, but the transparency.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you are not going to be, once you get that business credit card in your hand, it's a different type of challenge. And you are not going to swipe that business card typically for a personal expense, because it carries a lot of weight and has a lot of accountability that falls behind it. So it does really help you separate mentally. Okay, this is my personal credit card. This is my business credit card. Let me keep them in their respective places for those reporting things. And so I know that this is a business credit session, but the financials of what's going on in your business are so important for you to track and take care of. You need accounting from day one. You need accounting. You may not be able to afford an accountant, but QuickBooks has $35 a month, $25 a month. Right now for the holiday season, you can get it for $10 a month for 3 months, is what I'm hearing that their most recent promotion is. You will be able to go in and categorize your expenses. That will turn into you being so knowledgeable of what's going on. I recently switched my own reporting with QuickBooks from QuickBooks Self-Employed to just the QuickBooks Online, just the simple QuickBooks Online program. I am so surprised at what I have learned about my spending patterns in my business. I have been able to change the way I spend money in my business and how I use business credit based on what the accounting information is telling me. So if we go back to what Stephanie was saying, and we're looking at separating those two things, you have to pay taxes on that business. You're going to be paying them quarterly if you're selling tangible products, but you're going to be paying you're going to be paying taxes at least annually in your business. All of us will. And it's much easier. I'm telling you, it's a lot to track, and it's too much to go back to try to catch up with after a whole 12 months. You don't want to be doing that. So with the accounting, it tracks what's going on in real time. With your business credit, you have to monitor it. You have to be able to monitor that activity. And that's why I mentioned the platform like Nav Boost. If you are going to if you're going to view your business credit scores on each one of these individual reporting bureau websites, it gets expensive, because it's not like you can go view a free report like you can with your personal credit with Credit Karma. You know, you will have to pay for a subscription somewhere to be able to track your business credit scores. And you just have to find out which platform is going to be the most useful for you to be able to do that. For me, it has turned out to be Nav Boost because of all the benefits. You may want to use the Experian dashboard. You may find that all I really need to see is here, most of what I need, but try to get a hold of a platform where you could see as much of your information as possible. And that's what Nav created for me. But such good points. Thank you for bringing that up, Miss Stephanie. Nearly 45% of small business owners don't know that they can build business credit. separate from their personal credit. And that's actually gone up 5% since I created this reference. And that comes from the Small Business Finance Exchange. And by now, you ladies and gents know that there are 3 main credit reporting bureaus, which are Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Here's a cheat code. Business credit can help a startup get access to better funding. So I want you to think about it in terms of this. You get better terms with suppliers. You get the ability to grow without relying on your personal finances. Business credit is just another way to fund your business. There are 6 other ways to fund your business. There are 7 major sources of ways that you can fund your business. Business credit is just one of them. Bootstrapping is another, which means you're just using your personal money, your personal assets to fund your business activities. You don't want to be doing that for long periods of time. And I saw somebody post on Facebook today, what we're not doing in 2025 is transferring from our savings to our checking. What we're not doing in 2025, in the words of a business coach, we are not using our business finances to pay for our personal. And we are not going to be using our personal finances to pay for our business. Now, life happens. You may have to support your business, and putting equity into that business is just fine. But do not make it a habit of taking your personal finances and always paying those bills in the business, because you get too comfortable doing that if you know you got a cushion. So don't even allow yourself to think in that direction anymore. Okay. Here's the checklist, one by one. Incorporate your business, get an EIN, open a business bank account and apply for that DUNS number. Then you're going to open those vendor accounts, and you're going to work your way up to getting your first business credit card. Some great business credit cards, and I can actually share some more of these later. American Express has a great business card for small businesses who are just getting started. If you are on the NAV Boost platform, NAV actually has a Visa card that you can use as a business credit card. There's other corporate platforms like bill.com, BILL. They have a business credit card that you can use. There's actually, some of the stores that you would typically shop with. If you think about Walmart, if you think about let's see, what other major retailers are there out there? There's many of them that they offer business credit cards to. Oh, Home Depot. I just got approved for a $500 Home Depot card that didn't even need a personal guarantee. All they wanted to know is that I had an LLC, I had my paperwork, I had my EIN, and I've been in business for more than a year. Those are literally the qualifications to secure a $500 Home Depot card. So revolving credit in early stages in business, which would include credit cards, is very possible. When we start looking at revolving credit like actual business credit lines, so you can open personal lines of credit, and there are also business lines of credit. So you can secure business lines of credit with capital. And what I mean by that is, if you've got $5,000 sitting in a bank account that belongs to the business, you can tell that bank, I want to open a $5,000 credit line, and I want to secure it with the $5,000 that I have over here in the savings account. You can do that. I've done that before. The interest rate is pretty low. It's usually lower than a short-term loan, and it's revolving credit that you can pay back and you can reuse, and the line just stays open, and the line just stays open, right? But they typically, credit lines, even when you secure it with those finances, they will still want a personal guarantee. All right. That's if your business is making like less than $100,000 a year. All right. So get a business credit card and start on that mix that we were talking about with Ms. Jones. Pay your invoices on time. You got to pay your bills on time. And remember, you can pay the statement balance, and that counts for your payment. And if you want super shining star business credit numbers and scores, then you want to make sure that you stay at least under 30% of what you owe total. All right.
I have some questions.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, 2 questions. So when you have a business account, right? And your business card is it's like the debit card, right? When you have a debit card, but what about a business account Visa, right? Does that go, how does that work? Does that go to your credit score, or because it is it's a bank account, with, your business money in it.
Right.
How does that work? So I want to know, this is a two-part question. So does that work for you? And if your business account fails for some reason, and let's say it goes into, negative, and you owe the bank, does that work against your business credit? So can it work for you and against you?
So no,
Okay.
it cannot work for you, but having issues with your business bank account can work against you in a lot of different ways if you're not handling it correctly. So
Okay.
it does not work toward the business credit. And just because it has Visa or MasterCard on it, it just means that it's a widely accepted vehicle for how to move your money about. So if you were, out of the country or any other place in the world, you were in a different state, these machines are able to read chip cards off of these major manufacturers of these cards. So just because it has Visa or MasterCard doesn't necessarily mean that it's a business credit card. If it's a debit card that's being used to access money from your business bank account, then that is not money that's being used to borrow on credit. It's money that you have readily available there that can actually be liquidated that you can immediately use. So that's the answer to the first part. It doesn't affect your business credit. What it does though, if you are not someone who is keeping up with what's going on in your business bank account, what I have learned is that when some lenders are looking at your business, if you're applying for business loans for some of these lenders, one of the qualifications is that your business does not have a negative balance over so many days. There are some lenders that will look at your bank statements. Most of them will, and they're going to say, your bank statement is reflecting that your account was in the negative 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, 9 days, whatever. Usually there's a 4-day cutoff from that. Well, they're not just asking for 1 month of your bank statements, they're asking for 3 months of them. So if your account is in the negative too many days in 1 month out of those 3 months, then you're going to have to wait until you have 3 consecutive months where you had no negative days to reapply. And if we're thinking in terms of business and that timeline and how quickly you need your stuff, then that's going to really screw you. That's going to mess things up when it's time for you to actually start applying for money that you need for working capital, for equipment, to expand your business, those type needs. So that is one thing that messes it up. If you do not know about an SBSS score, your FICO SBSS, that stands for Small Business Scoring Service. That FICO score is used by over 7,500 lenders across the country, and it ranges from 0 to 300. This is the score that the SBA is going to use to see if you qualify for an SBA loan or not. They're going to want that score to be 180 or above. Some of the things that impact this score is if your business bank account has been in the negative, if you've not been paying your bills back on time, if it seems like you have too much debt out there, not just not paying it back on time, but your debt to equity ratio is out of balance and it seems like you're carrying way more debt now than you are with your business having equity or income flowing into the business. And so something else that affects that, if you've had business checks to bounce, that can affect your SBSS score. So if you're not handling your business bank account properly, it can definitely have negative effects on what your business is capable of doing in the future. And that is that's some strong stuff, because when you need access to funds, you need them. You really need them in small business. And to be put off by 3 months, 4 months, however, because that bank account has not been, you've not managed it right. It seems like maybe you struggled with it some and you're not exactly sure how it happened or when it happened, but it seems like that profitability is low in that business and we've got to figure out how to keep it in the positive, things like that. Now, there is I offer another reference called a business profitability toolkit. and I have been posting about it a lot online. What this toolkit allows you to do is it goes beyond business credit because it allows you to understand how to make money in your business, how to keep money in your business, and how to grow money in your business. So it helps you highlight what's going on with your expenses and how you can maintain profitability over long periods of time, you know, without hurting your own wallet or without pulling on your own savings to sustain the business. But it's a different reference that can help you. But I hope that that answers your question, Miss Stephanie. Does that help?
This is powerful. It's so powerful that I'm not giving this away for free. They didn't show up, so you know what? Really, seriously.
You know what?
I'm not doing it. I'm not giving this. You gave so much great information here. There's no way I'm just going to post this out there for free. Not right away. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
We're going to make some money off of this
like
material.
Like I will feel free. Like you can have this business credit checklist because you know, you can look at this checklist and you can follow it, but if you don't hear the actual teaching, the concrete teaching like this that comes behind it, you really won't know, I think, how to mobilize this resource, and that's what's going to be most important.
I think we're gonna monetize this, so you can wrap this up and then we'll talk about it, and you get a percentage of it. Yes, because
do I get my copy?
Monetize this.
He said, "Do I get my copy?
Do I get my copy?" Only because I have to run because I have to go pick up my order.
I will make sure you get what you need. We will connect. Go ahead, Twanda.
But I do need to run because I have to make it to the store before they close. But Cynthia, like Stephanie said, this is invaluable.
Oh, thank you.
Your delivery of the content of the information makes it so digestible. I want to thank you so much. I'm so glad I pushed to actually attend to hear this live.
Yes, we appreciate it. We're glad you pushed too, and thank you for your patience and us getting started a little bit later. I really appreciate you, Miss Jones. I'm glad it was helpful.
You'll get connected to Twanda. We'll be working on some things together. Have a good night, Twanda. Email me, and then I will email you back.
Everyone have a great, wonderful holiday, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All right. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you, Cynthia, for this amazing presentation. With everyone will be able to access it for a fee. I'm not putting it out there for free. And I will make sure you get your percentage. And what you can do is email me that checklist, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to use that and everything that you gave us, and I will talk to Maribel about it, and we'll do that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Please reach out to us at admin@SestraNow.com or Stephanie@SestraNow.com to get in touch with Cynthia and take advantage of her services. She is on our panel, and we're going to say thank you and have a great night. Thank you, Cynthia. Hold on, Cynthia.